Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Fantasy Premier League with FPL Wizard. I hope you're all fine and I hope you're all having fun. Welcome back after the international break, and today's gonna be a hectic stream. I can tell. I've been trying to set up. I had some problems, and I'm on a wild card. Last week wasn't the best, so I decided to pull my wild card, and so over the international break, I haven't updated my wildcard much because of the news. For example, yesterday, guys, the news came out that Heung-min Son is going to be out with COVID. So it puts every kind of puts spanner in the works, and all these kind of things. That is the reason I don't update my wildcard and don't do kind of midweek streams about my wildcard, especially with all the uncertainty lingering around. But this is where I'm at with my wildcard, guys. I haven't kind of locked my team right now, but the thing is, I wanted to come online. I wanted to show you. There's like a couple of last minute decisions which I had, which I have to make for my team. But at the moment, this is where I'm at, and the big news is we're not sure whether Rafinha is going to be playing. That's one. The second big news is that Son is out with COVID. So actually, the team which I made till yesterday night about my wildcard is had to be scrapped, and I had to start again and go back to the drawing board and stuff. So, this is exactly where I'm at with my team. So, basically, I still have some cash in the bank, if you may. So I can kind of upgrade some players. I can do some stuff with this team. I've got like a 0.4 million in the bank. I was still debating whether to pick Azpilicueta, who's more safe and secure, or to go with somebody like Chilwell. And I could upgrade Foden to Mahrez. I could upgrade Antonio to maybe somebody like Timo Werner. There's lots of possibilities here. Anyways, so let me come and read your comments for now. Mon says, hey bro, hey what's up my friend, hey George, hey Todd, Simon, Light Rays, Smelly Vab. Thank you so much everybody for joining, and I'm sorry for being a little bit late. I was just trying to set up some things. Adam says, heard Jota is benched and Trent's playing. Trent is fine. Actually, Trent tweeted yesterday. He said, I'm back again. So time to rip your fantasy drafts or something like that. So basically he knows we all are, kind of looking up to him for the fantasy Premier League. Jackson says, I don't have Tony, can I have Huang? Huang is fine, my friend. The only thing is, I'm not even sure if he's nailed on. He scored 2 goals last week. There's no reason why he shouldn't play. But, he's not the talisman of that team. And, Tony is the talisman. That's the only difference. The other one who I'd look at is Armstrong from Southampton. Who will be on penalties for Southampton? That's a very interesting one, my friend. If I think Redmond could be on penalties, I'm not even sure if Armstrong could be on penalties for Southampton. It's kind of up in the air because Jay Adams would have been on penalties, but he's injured. James Ward-Prowse would have been on penalties and he's injured. So everything is up in the air. Shopman says, why not Townsend? Which Chelsea defender would you recommend? Chilwell or Reece James? These questions, guys, I've been struggling with these questions all week because the problem with Thomas Tuchel is, as I already said, he's Pep Guardiola on steroids. You don't know what he's going to do with his team. He's got Chalobah who can play in centre back. Rudiger is definitely out. But, he's got Chalobah, he's got Christiansen, he's got Thiago Silva is obviously out this week, but in long term, you don't know what's going to happen there. Reece James is basically competing with who? He's competing with Azpilicueta for that right wing back spot, and he's competing with maybe Callum Hudson-Odoi. But on the left hand side, he's got like 2 solid options in Alonso and Chilwell, so it's a bit difficult to kind of guess or second guess what's going to happen here. Thoughts on Mount? I think Mount is a decent option. He's got 2 assists this season. It all depends upon what you want to do here, who you want to go for, and all these kind of things. He's gonna be all right. Mount is gonna keep ticking over. He's not the kind of person who's going to give you like 15 points or like 20 points. Not that kind of a player he is. Is Tony Armstrong or Jimenez for Bamford. If I was you, my friend, I'd be tempted to go with, Armstrong because his fixtures are so good. The problem with going with Armstrong, I mean, I can go with Armstrong on my wildcard, guys. For example, it saved me 0.3 million. The problem with going with Armstrong is, like, James Ward-Prowse is injured, Che Adams is injured. Who is going to provide for Armstrong is the doubt that I have in my mind. Is Cancelo starting? Who knows, my friend? Who knows? Nobody knows what's going to happen with Pep Guardiola. All we can say is, we can hit and hope. I wanted to have two City defenders to cover for Cancelo's absence, but the thing is, it was unsettling my team too much, so I decided. The plan is to kind of move on Doucouré for Mbeumo in game week 10, so Doucouré is a placeholder for somebody like Mbeumo in my team. George says, how long is Rudiger out for? They haven't given a timeline. Thomas Tuchel didn't give a timeline. All he said was he's not going to play this week. He has a back injury or something like that, my friend. So I'm not sure how long he's going to be out for, but I don't think it's going to be long. I don't think he's going to be out until the next international break. I think he's going to be back. Grealish over Foden for the long term. I mean, you definitely can pick Grealish. The problem with Grealish is there isn't much upside with Grealish. He hasn't kind of taken off at City yet. I mean, he's ticking along. Yes, he's got 1 goal, 1 assist. He scored in the Champions League, but is not doing he's not the talisman of that team. He's not scoring freely, or not even providing assists or something like that. So that is the reason I just wanted to go with Foden, because much more explosive option, and it's kind of a 1-week punt. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I mean, I was even thinking about going with Jota for this week, in place of Foden. The problem with going with Jota is that we're not sure if Jota is going to start, because there are rumors that Firmino can start this week. So is this your final team? Tyron, this is not my final team. Unfortunately, when I'm on wildcard, I like to tinker. I'm just thinking at the back of my mind. It's not going to be very different from what it is, but I still would like to keep my options open. I don't want to say this is my final team. So if you're going to be here with me until the end of the deadline stream, you'll definitely be able to see my final team, but don't want to say that this is the final team. Just don't want to say that. All right. Rumor says Stone Star. There is nothing which we can do about the rumors. Anyways, we have a question here. Aaron says, I'm really concerned about my midfield. I'm starting Zaha, Salah, and have Rafinha, Sarr, and Allen on my bench. Should I take a -4 to get a new midfield, or just play with 2 midfielders? I mean, if you want, you could play with 2 midfielders. There's nothing wrong. I mean, there's a formation 5-2-3 as well. You could easily play with the 5-2-3 formation. Provided you have 5 defenders on your in your team, who actually play. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you just have to. In every game week, we cannot have the perfect team. Your views on Reece James, says FPL Jug. The thing is, Reece James, as I said, has competition with, he has competition with Callum Hudson-Odoi and sometimes Azpilicueta. That is the thing. But Chilwell and Alonso, they're two play in the same position. Reece James doesn't have a like-for-like replacement, so I'd say Reece James is going to be more nailed on than Chilwell or Alonso. Matthew Brown says, thoughts on Zaha? I mean, he's fine. He's been on penalties for Crystal Palace, so that's an added advantage for Zaha. The fixtures are not the best, I'd say. Start Livramento or Sarr? I'd start Sarr. He has a good record against Liverpool. He scored a hat-trick against them when they got relegated as well. Although Watford, under Ranieri, they're going to be a little bit more open and explosive. So I hope Sarr, can exploit. But I always start the attacker over the defender. Khalid says, hey, Viz, how are you? I'm fine, my friend. Hey, Barry. Amit says, Cancelo plus Laporte plus Brownhill, or Cancelo, White, Emil Smith-Rowe. I'd say, you could go with Cancelo, White, and Emil Smith-Rowe, because those 3 are nailed. Laporte and Cancelo, I'm not sure if they're nailed on, The problem with Laporte is, again, if what happens when John Stones comes back, and all these things are going to always keep lingering. I have Antonio, Lukaku, Ronaldo. I want to replace Ronaldo, but for whom? You could replace him for, somebody like Ivan Toney. You could replace him with Adam Armstrong. You could just replace him with somebody like Huang as well. I replaced Rudiger with... FPL Jack says the chat is stuck. Is it? Oh, alright. Sorry, just give me a second. This OBS sometimes just plays up, guys. Just give me a second. Try to fix this thing. I don't know why this is not working here. Anyways, we've got important things to deal with, guys. if the chat is stuck, hopefully it works now. Yeah. Double up with Diaz and Cancelo. Swap Diaz with Azpilicueta. I mean, you can do that if you want to. I just don't want to book my transfer early. I want to roll my transfer next week. I don't want to be making transfers. When I play my wildcard, I don't want to have to make transfers the next week. So Crowd says Reece James or Cancelo. Knowing Zinchenko is fit and Cancelo has probably played every game for City so far. There are two sides to this coin. One, you could say yes, Reece James has, Cancelo has played every game for City. So why do we think that he's going to be rotated now? The second thing is, if Zinchenko is back, yes, Cancelo. But the thing about Cancelo is he can play out left back, he can play right back. So I think he's more versatile, and I think Pep likes having Cancelo in the team for his creativity as well. So, just in my opinion, I think Cancelo is a good option for the attack he provides and the technical security for Pep. In our team, if you want to pick Cancelo on wildcard, you need to have Livramento on your bench just in case Cancelo doesn't start. Rafinha to start. I don't know if Rafinha doesn't start, then Duffy's gonna come in. I just put in if he's in my team, I have to put him, just in case he starts. If he doesn't start, then Duffy's going to come in or Livramento is going to come in, no problems. Duffy's playing Norwich. I expect him to do well as well. Thoughts on Mope captain? If I was you, I just captain Salah this week. He's playing Watford. He's got 8 goals and 2 assists against Watford. For all we care, Just give me a sec. I'm just kind of tinkering with my team as well when I talk with you guys. Let me just show you my team so that you can actually see it. There you go. Sometimes, and I'm just tinkering with my team along with answering your questions, just in case I can find a better combo. The thing is, I want 2 City defenders, and I'm unable to afford them. The thing with Phil Foden is, he's not nailed on. So what I could do is I could possibly kind of pick Saka here in place of Foden, and which gives me 1.9 million in the bank, and I can upgrade Duffy to somebody like Ruben Diaz. That is also a possibility. That gives me more options, for my team. What do you think about this, guys? This also looks like a decent option to me, but what do you think? What do you think about this? Is this your wildcard team, says Zer. Yeah, this is my wildcard team, my friend. I'm on a wildcard this week. I'm just looking at different combinations, just kind of playing around. Because I think City and Chelsea defense are two which we need to exploit. They're just been too good this season, and 2 teams which are going to be, competing for the top of the table for the Premier League. Sid says, hey Wiz, how are you? It's your final team. Sid, no, not my final team. I'm just tinkering around, but it's close to my final team, yes. I'm fine though. I hope you're fine too. Antonio to Vardy. I mean, if you want to go for Vardy, you could go for him next week. This week he plays against Manchester United. You'd really want to go for Vardy. That's totally up to you. But if I was you, I'd wait for one game week. Huang or Tony. The thing is about Huang is I'm not sure if he's nailed on. Yes, he scored the goal, but I'm not sure if he's nailed on in that Wolves team. That is the thing. He was played Duffy or Livramento. If I was you, I'd play Duffy this week, my friend. Duffy has just been amazing with his headers. He's got most shots on target out of any defender, and in the box as well. So I think Duffy is amazing. Hey, do you think Alonso will start? I'm not sure about Alonso or Chilwell or Razif. It is so hard to... I mean, he had a great international break with Spain, so I mean that is positive for Alonso. But Chilwell did play really well when he started. So I don't know. I don't know. What can be what can we say about Tuchel? It's the most is one of those managers who never lets on anything in his press conferences, especially about which players he's going to play. James or Chilwell? That's $1 million question, guys. I don't know. I really don't know. Viz, what's the upside of going KDB captain? I mean, KDB is a decent option. The problem with KDB in your team is, I mean, the upside is always as a differential. You're captaining a differential. If he does well, then you're definitely going to gain from that. The problem with that is, essentially you're having to sacrifice other places in your team, because you can't leave out Salah and you cannot leave out Lukaku based on the fixtures which they have and the form they're in, especially Salah. So if you have KDB, Salah and Lukaku, I think that makes your team a bit unbalanced, in my opinion. The upside is always that KDB is a differential. So how much I don't have any money in the bank, by the way. If I pick this team, I've got 0 million in the bank, but then I've got like 4 solid defenders. I've got Azpilicueta, Alexander-Arnold. I mean, I like the look of this team as well. I could definitely roll with this. The problem is not even sure how nailed on Bukayo Saka is. That's the only thing. I mean, I could go for, I've already got Doucouré in my team, right? I could go for Mbeumo early, like for example, I plan to go for Mbeumo in game week 10 in place of Doucouré, but I could go for Mbeumo early and just replace him, but that doesn't solve my purpose. Just thinking, guys. Sorry if not answering your questions, but just thinking out loud here. Alright, let me just come back and answer your questions. I've got Cancelo, Tierney, Semedo, Duffy and Trent. Should I bench one of them to play Sar? Yeah, I mean, if you want to, you can. Cancelo, Tierney, Semedo. I think if you want to bench one, you should bench Semedo. That's the only one. Otherwise, I mean, he's been very attacking as well, but, Semedo or Duffy. If you want to play Sar, you have to bench Semedo or Duffy. Are you happy with Brownhill and Doucouré? I would not have both. Yeah, Doucouré's got decent fixtures. He's got Watford next game week, and I'm gonna replace him with Mbeumo, Ramsdale or McCarthy. I mean, McCarthy's a decent option, but the thing about Southampton is they're weak. I mean, they've become weak with these injuries. So I'm not sure how they're gonna play without like James Ward-Prowse and in midfield and So that's the only thing which I feel they got a few injuries there. I think Tierney is a fantastic option if you can afford him, in addition to the others. Adam says, Viz, I don't think Chilwell is a risk. Your bench can cover him if he doesn't play this week. I know, my friend. The thing is, my bench can cover him, but I'm going to miss Chelsea defense points, and that is the reason I'm thinking about it a bit. The easier way to go with is to just go with James and just roll with James, But I don't know. If I reset my team, let me see if my original team looks better. So in my original team, I've got Duffy here and I've got Foden here. No, the rest is the same, I'd say. Yeah, so I've got Foden here and I've got Duffy in here. But if I replace Foden with someone, and that someone can be anybody. It doesn't have to be Saka, and I can get a City defender in here. Not sure about this though. Anyways, should I sell Benrahma to a 7.5 million? There is not many 7.5 million good players in the game. That is a problem. Mason Mount maybe, but other than that, I'd say you can keep Benrahma against Everton. Diaz or James? I'd say Diaz is more nailed. Are you convinced with Azpilicueta as your only Chelsea asset? No, he's not my only Chelsea asset. I've got Lukaku as well in here, bro. But yeah, I know where you're coming from there. I would love to have 2 Chelsea defenders, 2 City defenders, and 1 Liverpool defender. But it makes the balance of the team, it really it makes my team really unbalanced, and just don't like the look of that. The problem is there are not many other players in here which I would like to have So basically, I've got Foden and I've got Duffy in here. The problem with Foden is he's not nailed on, you know. Play Rafinha or Martial. Just play Rafinha. If he doesn't play, Martial's going to come in anyway. Emil Smith-Rowe or Townsend. I'd say, you know, Emil Smith-Rowe is good, looks good for the long term. For the short term, if you're going to replace him with Mbumo, just like I'm going to do with Doucouré, you can go with Townsend as well. Why the hype over Ramsdale rather than Tierney? There's no hype, my friend. I mean, the thing is, most of the people have got Sanchez as a goalkeeper. And in my opinion, Sanchez is, you know, just not doing anything except 2-pointers or 6-pointers. So that is the reason many people are looking to move their keepers, and that is the reason they are replacing him with, Ramsdale. And he's been doing well. He's got like 3 clean sheets in the last 4 games. I don't see what's wrong in there. Saka or Townsend? I'd say Saka. Will Rafinha play? I don't know. I honestly don't know, my friend. I'm just putting in my team just in case. Why is nobody talking about Walker? Because he offers nothing attacking wise, you know. And if like Zinchenko comes back and Cancelo needs to start, then who's going to make way? I'd suppose it has to be Walker or Cancelo. Alright, I'm just gonna look through Twitter to see if I can find some news about Rafinha. People said there was gonna be some news, so I'm hoping I can get. I don't know. Don't see any news in here. Alright. Gonna come back and answer your questions. So I just need to see, guys. The thing about my wildcard team is if I finalize my team, you can have a look at my thought process and you can actually just, you know, look at your own teams. So basically, you know, the option is I've got 0.4 million in the bank here. What I can do is, I mean, I could downgrade Azpilicueta to Chilwell. The problem is I'm not sure if Chilwell starts. You know, that is the issue. I could upgrade Foden to Mahrez, and that gives me upside of both Chilwell and Mahrez, but increases the risk a bit. So that is one option which I can go with. The second is obviously I could go with Bukayo Saka, or even I could go with Emil Smith-Rowe, you know, to save some money in the bank, and I could just let Azpilicueta be here, and I could get Chilwell if I wanted. I could get 2 Chelsea defenders, you know, I could get 2 City defenders as well. I mean, that's also interesting. For example, I could, if I don't want to go with Ruben Dias, I could go with Laporte, but obviously he's not nailed on. So let's say I put Dias in here. So see, this gives me 1 million in the bank, and you know, that could also be an option here. Let me Raghav says, oh sorry, I not looking at all of the teams, Raghav. It's gonna be a difficult time for me. Is Gray a better option than Rafinha? I mean, Gray's fine. They play West Ham United. West Ham has been in good form, so I'm not sure about how good as an option he is. But you know, he's been doing all right. I'd say start Rafinha or Kovacic. Razif, this is such a difficult question because Kovacic generally doesn't offer, you know, doesn't offer that much. He scored 1 goal and 1 assist this season, or maybe 2 assists, but generally he doesn't offer that much, Kovacic. If I was you, I'd put Rafinha in the team. If he doesn't start, then let Kovacic come in. Guess James and Chilwell start. I don't know about that. I honestly don't know about who starts, and that is a big issue about my team. Phil Foden is set to... No. Just give us the news about whether Phil Foden starts or not. You know, the thing about, if I go with this strategy, you know, I have 1 million in the bank, but the thing is, I've got like such a weak midfield. I don't like it, you know. The other option which I have, as I already told you, is to go with the double up of, you know, the double up of Diaz, or the double up of Chelsea. I could go with Chilwell in place of Azpilicueta, and I could upgrade Foden to Mahrez, because Mahrez has got a really, really good record against Burnley, and that is one. And Gabriel Jesus has been playing on the right wing, who's not going to be playing this week. So that is one positive as well. Troy says, thanks for the stream, Swiss. Don't see live often here in Nose. You're welcome, my friend. You're always welcome to join our streams. Our time difference is not that much. Um, Wiz, can you look into your magic ball and tell us everyone that starts, please? My friend, my magic ball is not been working, especially against Tuchel. Tuchel has got some kind of a hoax or a jinx. It doesn't let my magic ball see into his mind. People sell Alan St. Maxima. You can keep him. I mean, he's been doing well. I don't see the reason of selling Alan St. Maxima particularly. He's been doing alright, to be honest with you. So guys, these are the options that I currently have. You know, Kyzioh, Alexander-Arnold, Chilwell, Mahrez. I mean, this just increases the uncertainty in my team. Whereas if I go with somebody like, Doucouré is going to make way for Mbeumo. So basically, you should consider Doucouré to be Mbeumo. I'm just picking him for just these, for example, Watford and Wolves, and then he can make way for Mbeumo, because I don't see any other options in this price range. If I wanted to go for Emil Smith-Rowe, who is going to be my fourth midfielder? So that is one thing. So Azpilicueta, I've got 1.9 million in the bank if I go with this team. 1.9 million. What can I do with 1.9 million? Upgrade Tony to Jimenez, possibly. What else? What else can be done here? Upgrade a defender, obviously. That's also an option. I saw Mahrez in there. Yeah, I'm just tinkering with my team. I don't see Foden starting this game because it is a must-win game in the Champions League. Yeah, I know. Townsend in place of Doucouré. If you want to go with Townsend, you can. The thing is, if Dominic Calvert-Lewin comes back, then Townsend is going to be off penalties, and he scored a penalty. Doucouré has been actually playing, scoring from open play. He's assisting from open play. So that is one reason I'd prefer to go with somebody like Doucouré, because he has that. You can go with, definitely, if you want to go with Townsend. There's not much between them, to be honest with you. They're both doing almost similar this season. But if you want to go with Townsend over Doucouré, I totally agree. Alright. Just checking Twitter if we kind of get any news about Rafinha or anything like that. I mean, by the way, if you want to go with the Mbeumo and the Smith-Rowe combination, that can work as well. For example, if I in place of Doucouré, if I pick Mbeumo and I pick Emil Smith-Rowe here, for example, let me show you. So there's a really good rotation that happens between Emil Smith-Rowe and Mbeumo, especially in the next coming few game weeks, and then that gives me 3.1 million in the bank as well, because I've got Mbeumo, Rafinha, Smith-Rowe, all these cheap players. I could possibly upgrade Brownhill. I could possibly upgrade Tony. Let's say I could go with a Chilwell or a James. Not sure which one to go for. Let's go for a James, for example. It still gives me 1.9 million in the bank, So that is definitely a possibility. But that just doesn't give me any city cover, does it? No, that doesn't. Need city attackers in the team, or maybe, at least a couple of city players, no matter what happens here. Aisha says, hi, was Townsend in place of Doucouré? Everybody's asking for Townsend. Armstrong or Tony have Mbeumo. If you have Mbeumo, you could go for Armstrong. You can get Tony after game week 10, that is one thing. Alright, we've got 20 minutes to go to the deadline. I think it would be better if I stop tinkering and I just lock my team for everybody to see. I honestly feel that too much tinkering is not helping anybody. I think I should be kind of just thinking about locking my team now. So let's start. So James and Azpilicueta is fine. Cancelo is alright. I mean, let's put Doucouré in here. Townsend is actually 0.1 million cheaper than Doucouré, so that could be something if you want to consider. Or if I go with Smith-Rowe, I can go with anybody. That doesn't make a difference. In place of Brownhill, I've got 6.3 million, which doesn't give me anybody actually. 6.3 million in the bank, so don't want to upgrade Livramento, but I need 2 city players as well. That's a bit. What's your opinion on Rafinha? I think Rafinha is a great player to hold over the next few game weeks. The thing is, he's not playing this game week, or there's less likelihood of him playing this game week. That's the only thing I'd like to say. You should get a Saka for. Yeah, you could get Saka for Sar. I mean, Sar's got some really, really tough fixtures, my friend. So 1.9 million in the bank. And no, don't know which player to buy. So basically 2 Chelsea. So let's say if I don't go for, let's say we don't go for Reece James. All right, let's just go for Ruben Diaz. Let's double up on City because this game week at least City's got the better fixture. I mean, Brentford away is not necessarily the best fixture to target, I'd say. Alright, so we've got Ruben Diaz, we've got Cancelo. So that makes 2 City defenders, that makes 2 Chelsea players, and that makes 2 Liverpool players. But the problem is we've got if we have this team, let's say, who are we gonna play? We're gonna have to play 4-3-3, in which I've got Diaz, Cancelo, Alexander-Arnold, Azpilicueta, and Smith Rowe, Rafinha, Salah. I'm gonna have to put Rafinha in the team and hope he starts. That's the problem with Rafinha. How much is no? That's I don't have the money for that. Anyways, let me go answer your questions. I don't know. Thoughts about Gundogan? If you want to take a 1 week punt, you can. Why 2 Brentford strikers? Anis, because they're a good team. Brentford, they can score 3 against Liverpool. I like the look of that. I like the look of that attack. I could go with Armstrong as well, but I'm gonna have to change Armstrong to Tony anyway. For example, what I could do is I could go with Armstrong on the, I could go with Armstrong on my on my wild card, but then I'll have to get Tony in my team. For example, let's say I take out Tony. The problem is I've got 1 million. I've made 1 million on Ivan Tony. So I've got 1.5 million in the bank. What can I do with that? Except maybe I could get Bukayo Saka in place of. I could get Bukayo Saka in place of Emil Smith Rowe, with 0.5 million in the bank. So how does this team look to you? This is also an option. No City attackers. Yeah, that's true. that is true. I don't know. We can't have everybody, my friend. And the problem with City attackers is nobody is nailed on. In that attack. So in my opinion, I don't know, hard. So if I had to go for a City attacker this game week, it would be Foden or Mahrez, but the thing is they're not nailed on, and that is the reason I am. So basically this looks like a decent team, Mbumo. This game week I can play Mbumo now. If I don't have Tony, I can play Mbumo as well. I could play Saka, Salah. I could put Rafinha in the team. I could put Mbumo on the bench. Armstrong plays against Leeds. Burnley have some decent fixtures as well. So this could be an option too, if I wanted to go for this. You could go for KDB as a captain. Not a problem. I have Laporte versus Burnley, Duffy versus Norwich, White versus Palace, Martial versus Aston Villa, Liverpool, whom to start, whom to bench. If I was you, I'd start Laporte. I would start Livramento, I would start Duffy and White. I'd bench Martial. I'm looking at Twitter for any team news or leaks or about Rafinha. I'm not getting any, honestly. I don't think we're gonna get any leaks. So if you're on your wildcards, I'd lock the teams without thinking too much about, without thinking too much about anything else. So if I've got money in the bank, can I get Luis? He has a couple of assists this season. So Aston Villa has some decent fixtures coming up as well. So Southampton, Wolves, Brighton, Palace. I could play Luis or Brownhill. It doesn't make a difference to me. I've got 0.5 to upgrade Armstrong to Tony. If I want to play Salah, Rafinha, Saka, put Mbumo on the bench. No, I don't have any team news, by the way. I'm just tinkering with my team. I need to finalize my team in the next 3 minutes. I don't wanna keep it too late. Just wanna lock my teams as quick as possible. Give me a second, guys. I'm just thinking at the back of my mind. This team looks solid, to be honest with you. 2 City defenders, a Liverpool defender, a Chelsea defender. Looks pretty solid. Livramento as my backup if one of those misses out. All of the players in my team are starting. Maybe I have a doubt about Armstrong. I could go with Ivan Toney over Armstrong, but that's the least of my worries at the moment. I could actually I could think about. The thing is, I'm not sure about Azpilicueta from the Chelsea defense. I'm pretty sure about Diaz and Cancelo. I'm sure about Rafinha, Salah, Antonio, all these guys. Not sure about Azpilicueta. I actually want James, from this defense. The problem is he's not nailed on. That is the problem that I am facing currently. Mate, I'm waiting for you to lock so I can proceed. I'm sorry, Jackson. I'm going to lock. Just give me Son, KDB, or Salah, whom to captain. Just Son is out with COVID for 2 game weeks. Just know this. If you don't know this, you should, my friend. Son is out with COVID, and this Hill guy. I don't know his first name, but he's out as well. Hill. We've got 10 minutes to go. Panic stations. Panic stations are going to set in if I don't lock my team soon. The problem is Azpilicueta. I don't want Azpilicueta in my team, but I want a nailed-on Chelsea defender. Rafinha I'm not sure about Rafinha, guys. If anybody asking me about Rafinha, I don't know, guys. I really don't know. Rudiger replacement, budget 5.9. There's no replacement at 5.9, bro. Honestly, either you should upgrade him to somebody like Azpilicueta, or you could go down to Chilwell, but then you'll face the same problem that I'm facing at the moment because Chilwell is not nailed on. Alright. Give me a second. 0.5, Mbumo. Saka. I like the look of this team. There's nothing not to like about this team, honestly. The only thing is, should I go with Azpilicueta or should I go with James? That's the question right now. Saka is fine. Saka's got some decent fixtures. I'm happy with this. Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Leicester, Watford, Newcastle. I'm happy with Saka. He's been starting most of the games. He's scored in the international break. I'm happy with Saka. Happy with Lukaku, Antonio, Armstrong, maybe Toney, but I have money in the bank and he can become Toney because I already got Mbumo, so that's not a problem. Or what I could do is I could get Toney now. I could replace Mbumo with Doucouré. Or, whatever his name is, Townsend, I could replace him with Townsend and then move them on, but this gives me 0 million in the bank. But does it make my team strong? My team looks, yes, it definitely makes my team strong. But then I have 4-4-3. That is not a formation. I'm going to have to bench Rafinha then. Or maybe Toney against Chelsea. I don't know. So basically the last question, guys. Reece James over Azpilicueta, says Todd. Hello brother, what's up, says Pradeep. Anyways, guys, I'm sorry I'm not answering your questions. If I'm captaining Salah, by the way, anybody asking my captain is going to be Salah. What I can do is, Todd, Rafinha is not playing, right? So I could get Rafinha next week as well. I wanted to just let me see here. So if I get Trossard, let's see, or maybe Neil Mope. I don't want to go for Neil Mope, but if I get Trossard, because I've been thinking about that to target Norwich City as well. Townsend. I've got 0.2 million in the bank to go from Trossard to Rafinha if he doesn't start. Then I could go from Townsend to Mbumo as well. So if I play this team, I can bench. The problem will be the benching, right? Lock and load. I'm gonna. Sorry, Ismail. I just need to. I know Mahrez has great numbers versus Burnley, but that's out of the question now. I'm just looking at my team. I need to lock this team quick as possible. If Rafinha doesn't play, can we play Trossard against Norwich? Possibly. You know, we can. FPL Raptor says I am playing Trossard, right? So I'm gonna have to bench Rafinha. If I don't have Rafinha, I don't have the problem. Then I'm to bench Townsend against West Ham or Tony against Chelsea. This is gonna be a headache. Then I can just move on Townsend for Mbumo. I've got 0.2 million in the bank. I've got Azpilicueta. So Todd says I should go for Reece James over Azpilicueta. Reece James over Azpilicueta. Is Reece James nailed on though? That's the last question. Then I need to lock my team, guys. Is Reece James nailed on? You know, should I go for Reece James or should I play safe with Azpilicueta? That is the question. Reece James definitely has an upside. Reece James has an upside. I agree with that. Tony, Livramento, Saka. Saka's fine. I'm happy with Saka. Trossard. I mean, I would want Rafinha back, so that's like booking a transfer for next week. Because I can't play. Trossard has got like Liverpool and Manchester City next week. So either I can put Rafinha in my team and just bench him. Livramento covers James. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. That is true. 6 minutes to go. I need to lock my team here. Tony, it's fine. If I play Armstrong, that's going to give me another headache. And I don't have Mbumo as well. Which one? Just give me a second, guys. This is tense, guys. As always. 6 minutes to go. Sweaty palm time. The Wizards. Azpilicueta Diaz. I mean, I like this team. The thing is, next week Townsend plays against Watford. Even Wolves is a decent fixture, and then I can move him for Mbumo, Tony. I could go for Armstrong if I wanted to. That is one thing I could do. Livramento covers James. Quick, says Refusion. With Saka for Sar for a -4. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Anyways, I'm focusing on my team right now, guys. Please, if anybody's on wildcard, just need to look at my team. So if I, for example, if I pick Armstrong, right? Let us say I pick Armstrong. Diaz, Cancelo, Azpilicueta, Mbumo. So what I can do I think if I pick Mbumo here, sorry, what are the spellings of Mbumo? I'm getting a little bit stress here. What's his name? Forgot his name. Armstrong, right? Yeah. So if I go with Adam Armstrong here and I go with Mbumo, I've got 0.6 million in the bank. What can I do with that 0.6 million? Sorry guys, for anybody who's watching my team, waiting for me to lock my team, just give me a second, I'm going to lock my team. Don't worry about it. My team is going to be locked soon. Alright, Rafinha, if I can play Adam Armstrong, Saka, Salah, Mbumo. Yes, makes sense to me. Livramento on the bench. Boss. I don't have like we've got Brownhill, Mbumo, Armstrong, Antonio, Lukaku, Saka. I've got Saka in here, right? Saka. So what I can do is, if I've got 0.5 million in the bank, if I want to get Phil Foden, that's a deficit of 1 million, which I don't think I can cover in any way, shape or form. So I'd say I have to go for Saka here. There's no point in thinking about Phil Foden at this moment. I got 0.5 million in the bank, guys. That's the only thing which I have. Pick Rafinha and Trossard. Just bench Rafinha. No, I don't want to pick. If I pick Trossard, it has to be in place of Rafinha. So that I can get Rafinha next week. So let's say I pick Trossard. But why would I want to pick Trossard? I always pick my teams for the long term. I don't want to compromise on my principles here. All right, guys. Let's lock this. Let's lock this, and because I want to show you my teams. I hope you can see my team here. Let's lock it, guys. Everybody who's is watching here. So who do we put in? Diaz needs to go in place of who? Diaz needs to go in place of Rafinha, right? Let's not put Rafinha in. Let's put Rafinha number 1 on the bench. Salah is the captain. The vice captain is should be Lukaku, right? The vice captain is Lukaku. Captain is Salah, Azpilicueta, Cancelo, Diaz, Ramsdale, Mbeumo, Salah, Saka, Lukaku, Antonio, Armstrong, Rafinha. Actually, I should put Rafinha. I think, should I put Rafinha number 1 on the bench? Just in case he doesn't play, it doesn't make a difference actually. This is my team, guys. By the way, anybody who's looking to, for my locked in team, this is my locked in team. Just have a look, Everybody, please just lock your teams, guys. This has been a little bit kind of a sweaty palms time. 1 minute left. I'm going to refresh my team for everybody to see, because this is supposed to be my final team. Azpilicueta. I went for Azpilicueta in the end, guys. I went for Salah, Mbeumo, Saka, Armstrong. I think that looks like a very decent team in the end. The only thing was Todd told me to go for Azpilicueta. What I can do is I can see if if Reece James starts this week, how he does. I can just replace because I haven't booked a transfer. So I can do is I can replace Azpilicueta with Reece James. I can I think I like the look of this team. I think this is locked. Anas says I have the same team on my wildcard. I don't know, guys. I don't know how you like this team. I think it looks all right to me. The only player which I couldn't get on my team is Foden, which I actually had earmarked as my punt on my wildcard. But I couldn't get him, Phil Foden. Sometimes these things happen, guys, and you can't get all the players. But this is my final team now, so you just have a look and lock your teams. Todd says Zen time. Jackson says shit close. Guys, sometimes we need to have these kinds of streams, right? It's fun. It was close. I gotta give you that. But I think we managed to pick a really decent team at the end. I've been tinkering with this team since yesterday, especially when I got the news that Son is going to be out with COVID. I have been tinkering with this team, and the only thing which I a little bit sad about is that I didn't have the courage to pick to pick Reece James or Chilwell over Azpilicueta. I went a little bit safe, guys. That's the only thing I'm gonna say to you here. Otherwise, I think this team looks good. How do you think this team looks, by the way, guys? This is my wildcard team, and Reza says you captain Salah, bro. Yes, bro, captain Salah. I mean, what's not? I mean, Salah's got 8 goals and 2 assists in 6 fixtures against Watford, and it kept Townsend and Tony others the same. That's fine, my friend. That is absolutely fine. Sanjay says James or Chilwell. Sanjay, the deadline is past. There's no point in in discussing all that, guys. How do you think my wildcard team looks? Actually, I actually tinkered a lot here. I never tinker so much on my wildcard. Especially when I come here, online. I don't like to tinker. The only thing which I couldn't do is, guys, I wanted Saka in. I wanted Phil Foden in place of Saka on my wildcard, but I wasn't able to afford that. So one way or another, I've landed 2 Arsenal players in my team. Don't know whether that's that's good or bad, but looks good. Go for it. It's already done, my friend. The deadline is passed. FPL Jug says, I'd say your funds are spread a bit. But you see, FPL Jug, it's the team which I have, it's easy for me to manipulate, For example, I've booked a transfer. After 2 weeks, I'm going to move on. If Adam Armstrong doesn't do well, I'm going to move on Adam Armstrong for Ivan Toney, And I think I've got 0.5 million in the bank, and in my opinion, I can move any of these expensive defenders in one transfer, and I can take out the money. I can take out 1.5 million in addition to the 0.5 million that I have, and I can easily upgrade Saka to somebody like a Grealish, Foden, somebody like that, anytime I want. It just needs 2 transfers. I'd say I've done well to go with Brownhill, not getting suckered into picking a Townsend as my 5th midfielder. That would be a headache, and that would be a pain. Light Race says, looks good, Wiz. My bank has 0.5 million, guys. So this is my wild card. I mean, I don't know if you like it or not. Sanjay says, hi Wiz, I did. We only have 3 different. You have Antonio, Armstrong, Brownhill for my Foden, Tony, and Wong. That's fine, my friend. That's absolutely fine. Everybody has, how you will get Ronaldo or Son at game week 14 or game week 12 respectively. I mean, if I want to get Ronaldo, it's going to be for Lukaku, right? But I don't want to get Ronaldo in game week 14. If I want to go for Manchester United assets, I think it has to be the cheaper players, because Ronaldo is, I don't think he's worth 12.6 million, to be honest with you. From what I've seen from Ronaldo and from Manchester United in general, Jadon Sancho has been below par a bit, and in my opinion, I wouldn't want to go for Ronaldo. If anything, I would possibly want to go for Bruno Fernandes. Much more I would like to go for Ronaldo. Even somebody like a Greenwood or somebody else. So game week 14 is so far. I can easily plan for that. Game week 12 I want to go for Son, and that can easily be planned as well. I can take out Antonio for a cheap striker, and I can upgrade Saka for Son. So Smelly Web says, solid team Wiz, thanks for another nail-biting stream. You're welcome. George says, good team Wiz, don't worry. No, I'm not worried, guys. I'm totally fine, I take my decisions, then I stand by my decisions, The only fear of missing out is Phil Foden, and, just hopefully doesn't come back to bite me, right? I fear missing Phil Foden in this team. Anyways, now let's looks like Mahrez is gonna, irrespective of Mahrez is gonna start or not, I think Phil Foden can start in the false 9 because Jesus and Torres are not playing. So FPL Duck says I do KDB to Son. That's fine, my friend. That is absolutely fine. Alright, so what do you say, guys? It's time for predictions. Let's do the predictions here, and so we can then finish which has been a very what can you call it? A hectic stream, a little bit sweaty palm time, but we got there in the end, right? So let's hope Saka does well, and that's the only thing. So the first game, guys, and in which I think Salah has got to be having an expected ownership of over 200% because he was the standout captaincy option along with Lukaku this game week, and I think he is even a better option than Lukaku because Brentford are a resilient kind of a team. How many points I got? I'm around 120k, 126k or something like that. Last week I got how many? Let me just tell you. Last week I got 43 points. It wasn't the best game week. I got 43. So the prediction: Watford 1-3 Liverpool, says George Lyle. FPL Jack says 2-0 to Liverpool. See, I think unanimously we all need to agree that Liverpool is going to beat Watford. Although they've got Claudio Ranieri, Cisco Munoz has been sacked, and Claudio Ranieri is coming into this club. But I think it's going to be a step too far for Ranieri to The first game is not the easiest. In fact, it is one of the most difficult games in the Premier League against Liverpool, especially when Mo Salah is in form. So I'd say 3-0 to Liverpool with the Trent Alexander-Arnold hat-trick of assists. Lightray says 3-0 Liverpool. Salah will have an expected ownership of 165%, says George. I agree with that. Sanjay says, like your wildcard, I took out Antonio last second. I want to go 5 at the back by downgrading Foden. That's fine, my friend. Antonio, I'd say as long as he's fit, he's not going to go anywhere from my team. Jayaditya says 1-2 LFC. Sar will score today. I know where you're saying that. He's saying that because of the 2 seasons ago, Sar scored a hat-trick against Liverpool. But, it just happens once in a blue moon, my friend. Liverpool have been very, very good. Even against City, City looks so good. And Liverpool managed to score 2, put 2 past them. Watford 0, Liverpool 3, says Todd. So we all agree that Liverpool is going to win this game comfortably, and they're going to put at least 2 or 3 goals past Watford. The point to debate is whether Watford are going to score against Liverpool or not. Let me have a drink of water to ease my nerves a bit, by the way. Dang, I didn't even know I got a dry throat. It's dry, like as parched as a desert. Anyways, Aston Villa Wolves. This is going to be interesting. This is a game which I expect Aston Villa to win. And this is one of the reasons I didn't go for Wong. I expect Aston Villa to beat Wolves in this game. You know what? Aston Villa have been really, really good. Even though they don't have their best players, they don't have Leon Bailey available. They didn't have... They didn't have like Ollie Watkins was out of at the start of the season, and many other players have been missing, but Buendia has been missing, but they've been good. They were so good against Chelsea. They were good. They've been looking good. I was thinking about Ollie Watkins on my wildcard as well, but I remembered all the times he hit the post last season, and I thought no. But anyways, Villa 1-1, says George. Light says 1-1. Anis says 2-1 to Villa. Todd says 1-0 to Villa. I'm tempted to say 1-0 to Villa as well, because they look defensively solid. They've got a really, really good goalkeeper. They've got a solid defense in Tyrone Mings and Konsa. And Matty Cash has been playing really well, this season. FPL Duck says 2-2. Interesting. So who do you think is going to score for Villa, guys? Do you think it's going to be Danny Ings? Do you think it's going to be Ollie Watkins? Or do you think it's going to be somebody like Emiliano Buendia from the midfield? The way Wolves play, I expect Danny Ings to score in this game, because I think Ollie Watkins can win a knockdown and Ings can run behind that Wolves defense. So I expect Aston Villa to score against Wolves. Wolves not so much. Alright, let's move on. This is going to be interesting. Leicester versus Manchester United. Todd says Ings, Light says Ings as well. George says Watkins. So Watkins scoring is gonna be painful because I had him on my wildcard for 3 days. Anyways, Leicester versus Manchester United. I think this game is gonna be influenced by Jamie Vardy, because Manchester United have Harry Maguire missing. They've got Rafael Varane missing. Varane is not gonna be playing. Harry Maguire is injured. So they're going to be playing with Lindelof and who's going to be the other one? I don't know. They shipped out Tenzabe, Eric Bailly. I don't know if Bailly is going to be playing there. But Rafael Varane and Maguire are out. And Vardy can exploit that. Anis says it is a game between two bad defenses. I tend to agree with that a bit, because the defenses are depleted. Actually, Leicester is getting their defense back. They've got Westergaard, they've got Ricardo Pereira, and Soyuncu. Evans, I don't know if he's back or not. But Leicester 1-2 Manchester United, says Todd. Historically, though, Manchester United tend to do well against Leicester. That is also a fact. Lightray says 3-2 United. George says 2-2 United. 2-2 draw. Anis says 2-2 draw. Jug says 3-3 draw. Nice. So you expect a lot of goal in this game, in it. So that means people who actually kept Ronaldo and didn't wildcard gonna be the real winners if actually Ronaldo goes crazy in this game and scores a few goals. But I don't know. It's hard to predict this game. If I had to predict this, I'd say it's gonna be a 2-2. it's going to be a draw with Jamie Vardy scoring for Leicester, and you know, for United, I'm not sure who's going to score. Ronaldo maybe, you know, as he's the striker, but it's a bit hard to call who's going to score for United. Peter says, "Hey Wiz, hey Peter, what's up, my friend? I hope you, I hope you know, made a good team on your wildcard, bro. It was a sweaty palms time here on the stream today. we took it pretty deep into the stream to lock our team. Anyways, so Peter says it's gonna be 1-1 United Leicester. Interesting. So we're all agreeing that it's going to be a draw, or most of us think it's going to be a draw, and a scoring draw as well. Interesting, very interesting. But the depleted defense of Manchester United is going to tell its own story, you know. Let's see what happens here. Manchester United versus Burnley. Now, the only thing which I don't expect is for you to say that Burnley are going to score today, because I've got Ruben Dias and I've got Cancelo, and I want both of them to start, and I want Ruben Dias to score a goal and Cancelo to assist it, and that would be the ideal return from this game. City 5-0. Todd says 5-0. It seems like 5-0 is the usual score, you know, like City beat Norwich by 5-0, City beat Arsenal by 5-0, and City is going to beat Burnley by 5-0. So it seems like everybody considers City to kind of run riot against Burnley. Peter says 2-0 to City. He's being a little bit more pragmatic. George says 2-0 to City. Burnley haven't been good defensively away from home, I have to say this, you know. I expect City to score more than 2, to be honest, guys. Light says 4-0 to City. It should be to the tune of, you know, 3-4 goals, I'd say. You know, the only problem is hard to say who's going to score for City. I expect, but I do hope that Diaz scores a bullet header and assisted by Cancelo, and I'm going to be the happiest wildcarder there is out there. And Foden, not to do anything, because I had Foden on my wildcard till the end, and I took him out for Saka just to upgrade Shane Duffy to Ruben Dias. Alright, so City win, I'd say. Burnley not scoring. Norwich versus Brighton. So as you know, at the last star I was planning to put Trossard in my team, guys. Thankfully that didn't materialize, and I let Rafinha be in my team because I was booking a transfer for Trossard against Norwich. If Trossard goes crazy, and I'm going to be kicking myself for not making that transfer, not taking that risk, but sometimes, you know, you just have to go with your instinct, because that is not how I play. George says 1-0 to Brighton, that is standard. Anis says 2-0 and Duffy scores. That's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt a lot. FPL Jack says Brighton 2-1. So you do expect Norwich to score. Interesting. Brighton looked really good against Arsenal, guys, and I do expect them to keep a clean sheet versus Norwich. Todd says 1-1. Is expecting a scoring draw. I know, Todd, you're backing Pookie again. It's always Pookie, isn't it? So yeah, let's see. It's an easy game to call, in my opinion. I'd say Brighton is gonna win, but you know, we've got some people calling a draw. It's interesting, guys. Let's see what happens in this game. I'd be very interested. Southampton Leeds, a very depleted set of teams. You know, Leeds are going to be without Bamford. George says I predicted Brighton and Arsenal 0-0. Yes, you did. I remember. So Southampton and Leeds are two depleted teams, in which Leeds are going to be without Bamford. Leeds are going to be hopefully going to be without Rafinha, you know, and their defenders are slowly coming back. Southampton are going to be without Che Adams. They're going to be without James Ward-Prowse. So a set of depleted teams playing one another. Pookie penalty, says Todd. All right. Let's hope for the best. I don't have any Brighton defense, so I'd be happy for Norwich to score. Let me give you that. 1-0 to Saints, says FPL Jug. I just hope Adam Armstrong scores, you know, because at the last moment, the last hour, I took out Ivan Toney and I brought in Adam Armstrong. George says Leeds depend too much on Rafinha. Yeah, I agree with that, actually. He's been their creative spark ever since he's joined them, you know. He's given them a different dimension, and when he doesn't play, I don't think Harrison and Daniel James are anywhere close to the level. Rafinha scored 2 goals for Brazil in the last game that he played. Goalless draw, says Anis. Lightray says 1-1. Interesting, guys. So this game is a bit difficult to call. If you know that Ralph Hasenhüttl, he actually didn't let the Southampton players go for holiday. The players who went for international break, he let them go, but the others, he didn't let them go. He actually kept them back, and they have been training for 2 weeks because Hasenhüttl told them that we need to kind of pull our socks up a bit. So I'm hoping for an improved performance from Southampton, but let's see what happens there. A friend from Southampton, he told me that they've been training for the past 2 weeks because Hasenhüttl was not happy by the way Southampton have been performing. Todd says Southampton 1, Leeds 1. Interesting. Light Race says 1-1 as well. George says maybe 2 on Southampton if Rafinha doesn't start. Yeah, I think if Rafinha starts, that automatically pushes the opponent team back by 5 yards. One, he has pace. Second, he has skills and trickery. I think if Rafinha doesn't play, the other teams are going to be more confident. That does make a difference. All right, the last match of Saturday is going to be Brentford versus Chelsea. And I know my friend Todd told me to pick Reece James, and I didn't. I went with Azpilicueta. And so I hope Reece James doesn't punish me. All right. And what do you think is going to happen in this game? I've got Mbeumo, I've got Lukaku, and I've got Azpilicueta playing in this game. So I've got 3 players. I've got lots of stake in this game as well. Peter says I'm with James. So Peter is in the same boat as Todd, and I was essentially with one foot in each boat, and that is not a healthy situation for me to be in, especially 2 minutes before the deadline. So in the end, I went for the life jacket, that is Azpilicueta. Hopefully it saves me from drowning, and next week I can just move him on for James if James is starting. 2-0 says Peter. 2-0 says FPL Jug. Light Race says 2-0 to Chelsea. So everybody expects Chelsea to keep a clean sheet, so that's a healthy assessment of the situation. Todd says 2-0 as well, so everybody is expecting Chelsea to keep a clean sheet. And if Chelsea do keep a clean sheet, and we all expect Azpilicueta to start, so I'm gonna be happy with a clean sheet irrespective of what James does. If James goes crazy, scores 18 points again, I'm just gonna blame myself. No worries about that. George says Brentford 2-0 Chelsea. That's a very unanimous kind of a score, except Anis, and Anis says it's going to be 1-2. Everybody else says 2-0. So I'd like to say 2-0 as well. Chelsea are not the free-flowing attacking team. I didn't like the comments by Thomas Tuchel on Kai Havertz and Hakim Ziyech after the game. He said that they were out of form. He said they are out of form. Kai Havertz and Hakim Ziyech are out of form. So that means that Timo Werner is going to be getting more starts, and Kai Havertz is a little bit out of the pecking order, or below some other players now. Even though he's such a fantastic player, he's like a Berbatov-like touch. He's got that silky Berbatov-like movement and silky touch. Anyways, not talking football here, we're talking FPL. So Brentford, we expect Chelsea to win, but you don't expect Brentford to score. But I'll tell you to be careful. If they can score 3 against Liverpool, they can definitely put 1 past Chelsea as well. Let's see what happens here. Everton versus West Ham. Now, I was so close to going with Doucouré, so basically I would have 1 player in this game as well, along with Antonio. But in the end, I decided to go with Bukayo Saka, who actually plays on Monday. So, Everton versus West Ham, what do you think is going to happen here? Unbelievable after what they paid for them. Totally, my friend. Totally. Everton 2-0 West Ham. Anis says 2-2. Nice. George expects Everton to win. George, you are a red, bro. Have more faith in West Ham. Ev says 1-2 Hammers. Alright, so Todd thinks West Ham is going to win, and that's good news for us because we own Antonio obviously. Peter says 2-2 draw. Light Race says 2-2 as well. Peter says I think Brentford will play a different game versus Chelsea. I think they're going to play a long ball game, which they always do. If Tony can win headers against Virgil van Dijk, I see no reason why he cannot win them against Azpilicueta, Christiansen, Chalobah. If Tony can dominate Matip and Van Dijk, who are like seasoned defenders, I think he can do so against do so against Chelsea as well. And Mbumo is going to be the beneficiary of those knockdowns because he's the one latching on to those through balls, which he wins the second balls as well. So let's hope for a good game in Brentford and Chelsea, no matter who wins. So West Ham 2 to Everton, right? So in my opinion, guys, let me tell you, Antonio doesn't have a very good record against Everton. Antonio scored 1 goal in 7 appearances against Everton, but he's a different player, a different beast this season. So I expect Antonio to do well. If you ask me, I think it's gonna be a 1-1 draw, and I expect Everton to score. Not sure if Dominic Calvert-Lewin is gonna be back or not, but I do expect Everton to score 1 goal and West Ham to score 1 as well. Especially after they lost such a late. Brentford scored such a late winner against West Ham, so I expect them to win. Peter says Chelsea are better organized at the back than Liverpool. Their midfield is really tough. Liverpool's is getting better. No, I agree with that, Peter. I agree with that, but I don't know. The thing is, Brentford have given a game to everybody they've played against. And Van Dijk is no slouch, and Mbumo and Tony actually dominated them in that game. And that was a game in which actually Trent actually played as well. It was not like Milner was on right back. So I don't know what's going to happen here, but it's going to be interesting. Anyway, so we've already moved on. Let's do Newcastle versus Spurs. Guys, Newcastle has been taken over. If you didn't know, this is been taken over by the Saudis, and they have a valuation more than the owners of PSG. 10 times more than Manchester City owners is the valuation of Mohammed bin Salman, the Saudis who have actually taken on Newcastle. So Newcastle is going to be the new PSG. It could happen that we see somebody like Erling Haaland at Newcastle next season. I think Steve Bruce is going to go, and they're gonna have a bouquet of players, amazing players coming and joining the club. But for that, they need a better manager. So the first thing they're gonna change, I think, is gonna be Steve Bruce. Poor Steve Bruce is gonna have to make way for some illustrious Zidane-like manager, and then the rebuilding of Newcastle is going to start. I hope the Geordies are happy. I hope the Geordies are happy. Peter says too political. yeah, true. Wizards are supposed to be omniscient, my friend. We're supposed to know everything which is happening in this physical realm. We actually have information about the 7 realms around us. We're only talking about 1 realm here. Anyways, not talking too much about this. Is Wilson back? I think yes, Wilson is back. He was training. We saw pictures of Callum Wilson training. So yes, Wilson is back. In this game, I expect Newcastle to score, but I expect Spurs to win this game. So I'd say it's gonna be a 3-1 win for Spurs, with Harry Kane doing something in this game. He could come back to form. He's got a really good record against Newcastle as well. Saudi Arabia's clock tower looks like Mordor. I haven't seen that clock tower. I would like to. Technically, let's just first finish this predictions. I can talk about this all day, Peter. The last game, and we own 2 players. I own 2 players in this game. I own Ramsdale and I own Bukayo Saka against Crystal Palace at home. I expect Arsenal to win this game, guys. Crystal Palace have been really good under Patrick Vieira. They've been doing well. They've got some really good players. They've got Eze, they've got Elise, they've got Wilfried Zaha, of course. They bought Odson Edouard. Their defense is kind of coming along really nicely. Gohei and Tyrick Mitchell. So they've got a really good team, Crystal Palace. I don't think it's going to be easy for Arsenal, but Todd's comments are hilarious sometimes. He says Wiz was a tenor before the deadline. Now he's a bass. And that's a really nice one, Todd. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to get you guys on on the show sometime. We need to, Todd, you need to join the Discord, and we need to channel that Discord onto this channel, so we can actually all chat live. It's gonna be much more hilarious than me just doing a monologue. All right, on the deadline streams it's a bit different, but we need to do more voice chats and get more people involved from the community. I want to listen to you guys talk as well, give me your opinions about FPL, and that's going to be much more interesting, and I have a plan to do that very soon. So hopefully you're going to be able to hear Peter Cruz, GW8, and we're going to be able to hear Todd as well, sometimes a tenor and sometimes a bass. So 2-1 to Gunners, says Light Rays. 2-1 2-0 to Palace, says George. 2-1 to the Gunners. 2-1, says Anis. That's pretty interesting. You expect Crystal Palace to score 1 goal, but you expect Arsenal to win. That's interesting. I'd be very happy with that. And if Arsenal win, I think Bukayo Saka is going to be involved in that. Definitely going to be involved. So with that, we come to the end of the predictions, guys. The first part of the stream was a little bit, it was panicky, and it was a little bit, sweaty palms time, everybody panicking, team selection and wildcards and all that. But the second part has been really, really good. It has been fun. We've had some really hilarious jokes, especially from the likes of Todd, and I've enjoyed this a lot. Arsenal game is hard to call, says Peter, and I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Light Ray says team news in 2 minutes. All right, if team news is in 2 minutes, then I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be reading. All right, the team news. You say 2 minutes. I already have the team news. Right, here you go. The Liverpool team news is in the chat. Jota has been benched. Keita is starting. Trent is starting. Kelleher is starting. The goalkeeper Alisson obviously not back in time. Salah is obviously starting. Robertson, Henderson. So basically, Fabinho was not available. So Henderson, Keita, Milner, Salah, Firmino, Mane. So the big news is just that Jota has been benched. That is the only I think big news in this game. But we expected that. Yesterday, all the Liverpool accounts, including Spion Cop and the Liverpool Daily, they all mentioned that we expect Jota to be benched. So this is the Liverpool team news. Let's wait for the team news of Watford as well. All right, I'm just waiting for the team news of what do you call this? I'm waiting for the team news of Watford, and I'll give it to you as soon as I have it available here. I think I do now. Yeah, I do have it. Just give me a second. So Watford have Ben Foster, the 4 million goalkeeper, again starting. Sarr starting, nothing surprising there. Sissoko, Adam Messina, Kuko, Emmanuel Dennis, Cathcart, Trustekong. So I don't think there's much about this Watford team to, the only thing was this Ismail Assar was starting. Peter says, man, Jota has been so disappointing. I haven't owned him this season, but he could have hauled. He could have, my friend. Sometimes it's been wasteful money. Mane's been wasteful, and that is the reason Jota has not hauled. But then it has also been down to his own poor finishing as well. Buckman has lost his place. I think he has. I'm happy that I went with Ben Foster as my second keeper. In one of the games, it's possible I can start him, and it's better to own two playing goalkeepers. I'm very happy with owning Ben Foster. So there's no surprises in the Watford lineup, guys. The only surprise in the Liverpool lineup is that Diogo Jota is not starting, and as expected, Kevin Keller is starting in place of Alisson, which was expected because he was missing out due to the. But interesting thing to note is if Alisson is going to be missing, I think Rafinha is going to be missing as well. We need to think about that because they were in the same boat, they were in the same kind of tournament and playing in Brazil. Or South America rather. So if Alisson is not deemed fit enough to start, and I'd say Rafinha is going to be the same, guys. So I hope that's true. So we've got Livramento coming off the bench if that's the case. Foster makes Ramsdale a bit safer. Totally, my friend. Totally. I mean, Ramsdale is fine. They've got some good fixtures of Arsenal. If you look at their fixtures, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Watford, Newcastle. I mean, they've got some decent fixtures. And even if Ramsdale doesn't keep clean sheets in all of these games, he still has something about him to make some saves and stuff. So, you know, he's just more active than Leno, you know. And Arsenal defense is looking good in my opinion. So I'm just hoping for the best. I always the kind of a fan who always thinks positive before the game week or before the match day, and I expect Arsenal to do well always. You know, who's your captain this game week? Peter says FPL Jug. I think everybody's captain is supposed to be. Rishabh says source, spy, and cop. Yeah, this source. I've got like 5 different people tweeting the Liverpool lineup at the same time, so one of them is spy and cop. Yes. All right. So Jota's on the bench, and Trent is starting. Alrighty, guys. So I think that's been a healthy stream, and we had lots of fun, and you know, I will. Let's hope this game week goes well for everybody of us who actually wildcarded. But remember, just need everybody to concentrate and focus that, you know, wildcard is not for one game week. It's not a free hit, guys. It's a long-term thing. You know, even if it doesn't work out this game week, it doesn't mean that you made the wrong decision. You made a decision. You stick by your decision, and in the end, it's gonna be all right for your team. So on this note, I'm gonna end the stream. It's been a little bit hectic. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm going to see you next game week on the deadline stream. Till then, guys, take care, have fun, stay safe. Hope you have a great game week. May the arrows be green. Take care. Bye bye.